we are just going to jump right into it. Like, at this point, if I tried to give a summary, I'd essentially have to summarize the entire series up till now, or like the entire two games.
So, cut to
So, like,
1991.
if anybody's watching like this on the YouTube, you might want to just watch from the beginning. But hey, I'm not going to stop you if you want to just start with this episode for some reason. Go ahead. But anyways, we will get into it. While I won't summarize, I'll give a reminder of what we just did. We just established that Sashiro Jigoku, the judge from Japan, has been missing for over 24 hours. And we were basically told, if he is not found in the next 30 minutes, our client is going to have big repercussions. Arbitrarily.
Being
Venzeeks. Yeah. Like, it just whatever. They're going to just assume he killed him or something. I don't know. So, that being said, we're starting with Sato. Probably, so for...
Whoa. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare.
I can hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories.
Ellipses? I have such a terrible sense of foreboding.
Also a reminder that Kazuma was completely admitted that he was sent to kill Sashiro Jigoku. He says he wasn't intending to do it, but he took the mission to do it.
Yeah, with Tobias.
Yeah.
If something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control.
I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. The strange sensation that we were careering towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. What of options?
Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear.
Of course. The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us.
If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Harley's ears as hard as you possibly can.
It's gotta be a flash drive.
Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Harley's ears or not?
Why wouldn't you?
Just give up, loose.
Just be like, yeah, I mean, I don't need it.
I'm just gonna let the chips fall where they fall, like, eh.
How are you? What are you doing?
You still haven't given an actual answer. You just said, you said, why wouldn't we? That's not an answer.
You know what I mean. Just do it.
Here goes then. I'm going to do it.
Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo.
No looking back. Heave! This is you.
Ow! Oh, wait. Ow! That scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes, where are you?
Here, my dear fellow, here!
It's the first doll talking.
Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can.
Alright then, I'll put all my strength into it. Heave!
Ow! Please, my dear fellow. You don't need to pull my ear off.
Just a second, Discord deciding to cover you up. Just a second. Okay, I'm actually gonna tilt the camera a
Is he
bit.
back on the SS Barrier?
Mr. Jones, where are you?
Myself and my trusty partner. I'm presently in the first class cabin area of the SS Gross.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. It looks just
The-
like the first class of the SS Barrier.
I mean, the color scheme's different.
Fair.
Well, hey, they gotta like. They probably all their ships have like a similar like layout, and
You gotta use assets when you can.
even IRL.
That's what twins are.
Using assets. I guess only identical twins. I mean, technically, all siblings are reusing assets to some degree, just not all of them.
Yeah. The palette swap.
The SS Grouse.
She left Dover last night, after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We're currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour.
You've taken a ship to France.
Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port. In order to board this vessel in time.
So you mean you've already worked it out? The steamship was where everything really took place.
Sure, Hodo, pray, what is my name?
Herlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective.
Recited to perfection. Well done.
Like, in all of his, like, experience we've known of how his deductions are, he got this perfectly.
You're a genius, Mr. Jones. That's the only word for it.
You missed a bunch of hours.
Oh, Mr. Zato, gently with this genius's ears, please.
Oh my, I'm ever so sorry.
If I may, Sholmes.
Ah, there you are, Mikadova.
May remember that it was I, in fact, who made the connection to the SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday, when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. Never mind, Sholmes didn't deduce that.
Awkward. But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had a country-bound companion under my name.
Country bound?
Court-bound.
Yes, you did, didn't you? We just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now.
And if we're unable to present any leads, then I'm afraid to say.
Do not fret, please. It is for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubts that we shall have welcome news for you within a half hour.
Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful.
Until later, then.
Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first.
Ow! I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion.
What was the idea behind making a receiver operate in that way in the first place, Sholmes?
What the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine.
Iris invented the cell phone.
It's a pretty good cell phone, too, considering the technology that they have.
It's both better and worse than our current cell phone technology. Because it's not just a cell phone.
Were like little companions that like hung out on your shoulder.
Yeah, it's not just a cell phone. It has like robotics in there then.
Like that'd be so cool. Like everybody would just have like their own like cool little companion that they can put on their shoulders.
That'll pull on your ear when somebody tries to call you.
Yeah. I mean, people will very quickly make them really lewd and rude, which I dislike.
No longer pulling on your ear.
What?
They don't pull on your ear then?
Oh, that's not even what I was referring to, but I guess I was just referring that they would pick gross little avatars to make into their phones because it's funny. It's like no, let them be cute animals. That's all we want.
Why can't I have Hatsune Miku on my shoulder?
Hatsune Miku's fine. Listen, this is a PG stream. I don't wanna dirty it.
Well, I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes. We have about half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. We don't find our investigations rapidly. Wasn't even a word there. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. I see ever the bottom line.
There are times, Vikatoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So let us begin.
I want to say that from now on to people.
There are times when you make a surprising amount of sense. That's insulting.
That's a compliment. You're making sense. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. But I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow.
Are we controlling Mikotoba right now?
Yeah, Mikotoba's player 1 right now. And Jones is the
No.
assistant.
That's pretty cool.
Why are you loitering here? Who are you?
My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you?
Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor Chicken Stroganoff when you see?
It's related to the
Do you want to talk about that name?
Biff Stroganoff. Not unless you absolutely make me.
Will it make you if I tell you this is the last new name you have a chance to weigh in on?
Fine. I think it's Chicken Stroganoff.
Wrong.
Oh, dang.
It's actually Peach Stroganoff.
Ooh, have you ever had a peach stroganoff?
Is that a thing?
Then you've just willed it into existence.
I may have, but that doesn't mean I've had it yet.
I'm asking.
No. I just created it.
We should make peach stroganoff next time we're...
That sounds like it'd be awful, but okay.
You've brought it into existence. Now you've birthed it. Now you have to make your bed.
I don't want my bed to be Peach Stroganoff.
You are responsible for its existence.
No, I'm responsible for enough things I shouldn't be. Great detective. Ha! I don't think so.
Do you see that, Mikotoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine.
Goodness me, is that a tattoo that says Sholmes?
I must say, while such adoration is flattering, naturally it does leave me a little cold.
What are you talking about? Leave, now!
How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. Yet I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling aboard of a Russian steamship, in fact.
Those eyes.
Uh,
How could you know this?
Elementary, my dear Mikotoba.
I'm sure it was.
Mikotoba didn't even ask the question.
3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. There is no one with this name on board. But we know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk, he said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So the sheriff realized we're after him, has he?
His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please.
No! I have orders not to let even mouse inside.
Mikitoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make us some excuse so that he leaves the area.
Doesn't great detectives see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? Said it right in front of him.
Gus, the plan is ruined.
And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Holmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside.
Mikitoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you?
Opening any lock?
Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typical accommodating manner.
How could I refuse a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I?
Good man. So, the game's afoot.
Well, the game is a hand.
The game is a hound of Baskervilles.
Okay, so... Sure, what's this? Switch for the electrical lights. Perhaps if I would turn off the lights, the crewmen wouldn't be able to see what we were doing.
Sure. Flick it real good. That's you.
Sorry, I was just checking something. Ugh, what is happening? Where is light? No, Sholmes, no. Humph, nobody there. That was a close shave.
Quite a knack you have, stumbling so violently in an apparently empty corridor.
Do be quiet, Sholmes. I shall have to think of another approach.
What? That was plenty of time. I don't...
He can't do it in the dark? That's a speaking tube for members of the crew to communicate with one another around the ship. So I could just persuade our stocky sailor friend that he needed to use it. Sholmes could unlock the door whilst he was distracted. The question is, how? That's the way back to the deck. We certainly can't give up on this now. This must be a mousetrap, I think. Perhaps I could distract the crewman's attention with this somehow.
Sure. Try it.
True! That sounds like Big Mouse in Trap. True! I will bring bucket of water later and put out of misery.
Later?
I don't like the sound of that.
In any case, my dear fellow, that was quite unconvincing. Only Japanese mice make a chew sound.
Really, Sholmes, and pray tell, what do Russian mice make?
Oh, PvP, naturally, though also quite unconvincingly, I readily admit. So go ahead, Mikatoba, do a PvP this time.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure we can come up with an alternative solution. That was like the lowest hanging fruit joke.
I refuse to acknowledge jokes that are that low hanging.
Or
I'm a man of class.
What?
I'm a man of class.
Me too, of low class. That's the first case cabin. Your door is completely unguarded. I wonder if Russian mice do make the PP sound, because like the onomatopoeia in Japan for mice for
Is true.
is choo choo. So I wonder if PP is what Russians
I
say.
believe so.
Yeah?
I believe so. Yeah.
So weird that mice have dialects.
Yeah, it's really bizarre how onomatopoeias came into existence in such a bizarrely strange way. Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. Sometimes it does. Sometimes other countries' onomatopoeias make more sense than.
I don't know. I think
Your
Japan
own.
has some particularly odd ones.
They do, for sure. My favorite is the frog croak sound in Japanese.
Kero, is it?
Kero?
Kero? Yeah.
It's kero. Yeah, I like that the best.
I think my favorite is Doki Doki.
Yeah, but that's like an onomatopoeia for like your heart beating.
Yeah, so.
I thought we were talking about animals.
No, we're just talking onomatopoeias.
Oh no, if we're talking about Japanese onomatopoeias in general, I love the ones that are for things that aren't even sounds. Like like there's some that are like the onomatopoeia for like your heartbreaking, like stuff like that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there's some really like specific onomatopoeias in Japanese that I'm like, does that even make a sound?
The onomatopoeia for screaming in space.
Yeah.
The onomatopoeia for a tree falling in the woods and with nobody around to hear it. This is still you. You haven't read this one.
Oh, here we go. I already found two without even looking very hard. The onomatopoeia for feeling pretty excited, it's waku waku. Like
Wacko
does being
wacko.
excited make a sound?
I guess
And,
Fozzie Bear's always excited.
The onomatopoeia for wanting to get started on something, so like itching to get started, is uzuzu. Like
Sure.
wanting to get started on an activity doesn't make a sound. Japanese people, it's great. I love it. Don't stop. Tea as well. I had a quick look inside earlier. Though I confess I didn't investigate the wardrobe. It's a callback. They may very well be a young Japanese fellow inside, perspiring merrily.
If you're referring to Naruhodo, you know very well that he's currently perspiring merrily in court.
Does it not strike you, though, Mikatoba? Why the man stands guard in front of his cabin when both are apparently vacant in front of this cabin.
This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it.
I kind of don't want to, just like on an ethical point, but I mean, yes.
I mean, Shady just said do it.
Yeah, but thou must set it off.
Now Shady said set it off. You can blame Shady. Here goes, then. Pardon me in advance.
Oh, that's such a...
You! What are you doing?
Yeah, that's such a...
What?
Such a very rude move. Like so rude that I wanna use an expletive.
I mean, he absolutely has to like leave his post now. If we were at sea, that would be very bad problem. You can read this one.
Is it a man or is it a woman?
I assume it's a man. It doesn't really matter. It's a one-off.
What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganoff, report at once!
Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was just stupid trick. No, not by me, but world famous. No, as I told you. No, Holmes, no.
Never underestimate how wide the Ouchie family has gotten into every single profession imaginable. Done.
Not even 5 seconds, eh?
Well, just on the copy of my brilliance, Victober. In we go.
Shady said Alan approves of this message. Not setting off the fire alarm.
Oh wow.
Yes.
We just nightcrawlered our way into this room.
3rd November, SS Greece. Good gracious.
It would appear the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly.
Clothes on the floor there. There's your shadows without question.
Oh, you would know.
I've only seen them on the floor.
Oh. Well, it seems like we're just a little too late.
We were alone at sea for 50 days. Yes, by about 2 hours.
Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. They may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in there.
But that burly crewman may return at any moment, Holmes.
Indeed he may, which makes it all the more thrilling.
According to the report I was given, I heard he was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe.
Indeed he was, and it was a similar size to this one. You must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow.
What? Whatever for?
It was the site of my first faithful meeting with Mr. Naruto. You can experience the moment yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment.
Really, Holmes? Surely you can just tell me what you said.
Well, after some brilliant remark, it opened the wardrobe to reveal a stowaway murderer.
I think I'll just go read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Quite exquisite glass, I must say. Let's see, how's it?
Is something wrong, Holmes? You suddenly trailed off.
Ice, Mikatoba, ice. What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy. Chilled drinks.
Pardon?
Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think?
Well, it's a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world.
Subtly, Mikatoba. The sight of you is making my mouth water. Oh,
I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know.
This is a shipping episode.
God. There's a speaking tube here. What?
I'm not saying it, they are.
You're adding to it. There's a speaking tube here, look. Though it's been stoppered with some cloth. So the voice of the crewman on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose.
Or indeed, the voices in this cavern haven't heard elsewhere.
Could something have happened here? There's no one else here, do you think?
Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering.
That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? This is the waste paper basket, look. And there's still rubbish inside.
Indeed, then let us pry. I've discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets.
I sincerely hope only for your work.
Ah. Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago.
3 days ago, the night before we arrived in London then. When I was still aboard myself. Hope you're able to read it that fast. Oh yes,
I guess it was an evacuation.
Oh yes, there was an evacuation drill. I remember now.
Taken straight out of my mouth, Wikitoba.
I believe that was my mouth, sir.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was holding onto it so tightly.
I hope you got a good look at that, because there's no way to look at the court record here.
Hachimachi, that was not nearly enough time.
For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew, so it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. Evacuation drill itinerary has been entered to the courtroom. You can at least see the summary here.
Noted about was found in Judge Goku's cabin.
We still can't access the court record here, though, so... These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases.
That's new. I feel the rules have increased since last I read them. Probably just my imagination.
What about the fact they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you?
You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikitoba. There's nothing important about trifles.
It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Plenty of reading material will keep passengers occupied on the long sea voyages. I found the mixture of classic literature and easy reading to be most satisfactory, I must say.
Whoever stocked this bookcase was a hopeless heretic. There's no copy of the Adventures of Loch Shows, my dear fellow.
I'm afraid it's just me, but no, you're quite right. More blasphemous than overlooking the Bible.
I shall leave a copy behind. I just happen to have one with me.
You're a true missionary of the Church of Great Detectives, aren't you? The wall is a slightly different color here, do you see?
Indeed. What you have observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief.
Well, there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure.
He may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries as of late.
I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. All the doors in this vessel have locks, I believe.
A wise idea. You never know where and when criminals may strike. But of course, to the great detective Sherlock Holmes. Lock bolt or shut button, it makes no difference. Oh, all unfastened with equal ease. Listen, they're doing it.
The way you go
They're
on,
doing it.
you sound rather more like a great thief than a great detective.
I'm not even putting the innuendo in this one.
You're reading into it.
Cool Name is not even here to overread into things. They're making it obvious.
Unfortunately, we're ahead of Cool Name, so I don't think Cool Name will show up.
My dear Mikatoba, as long as there's greatness, I am quite satisfied.
Oh, of course you are.
There's a substantial heap of clothes on the floor. An overcoat, shirts, a dressing gown.
Momohiki work trousers, a Townsend robe, a haramaki waistband. Clearly the clothing of a Japanese man.
Clearly, Japanese men are unaccustomed to the culture of the wardrobe.
Looks to me as they've been thrown in a heap like that in something of a hurry.
Indeed, you could help yourself to a Japanese man's shirt, perhaps? I'm sure you made mention of packing too few.
I'd very likely drown in one of the Shiro shirts. No, I'll just buy any extras I need, thank. That's a very sizable trunk indeed.
Taken right out of my mouth.
Oh, was that you? Oh, fine, you say it.
No, Mikatoba, that's fine. We share about.
No, say it.
That's a very sizable trunk indeed, Mikatoba.
For sure, I was partial to all things large.
Oh,
Jeez. Don't die. Don't choke.
If he failed to notice, he'd left that behind.
Perhaps he left it on purpose.
Dirty.
It's lighter than you might think, but still hinders to a speedy escape.
Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside.
Surely 5 seconds from now, the situation will be quite different, though.
Certainly not. It has a 7-digit combination. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present.
You are still here. Ah, Abel Seaman Stroganoff, hello again.
I was beginning to think you'd never materialize.
Eh? You are waiting for me.
Of course, I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner.
I was in trouble with Captain because of a trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. It's all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off, now.
Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow, but first, there's something that must be done.
What are you talking about?
Why, naturally. The debunking of your deceit and the bowing of the truth.
Kakoi?
I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jikoku has not left this vessel at all.
Ah!
And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganoff, you know exactly where the man is, even as we speak, don't you?
How can you... Good gracious, Holmes. I mean, he worked it all out. All of it.
It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less.
Hmm.
Would you care to join me in for a dance of my inimitable logic and reasoning?
Nothing would please me more. But what is this?
We have but minutes until the vessel put to sea. No games now.
Here we go.
Time of self-essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago.
Da! That is what I said.
Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it.
What? Ah, yes, of course.
I see you've noticed it too, Mikatoba. Then please, do take the lead. What is in this cabin that shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours? Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills then, Mikatoba.
It's been 10 years since we last did this, Holmes, not 3.
Why, of course it has. Quite. Now, all the clues I hear in this cabin are eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe, then answer, then the answers become clear. So, impress me.
I think I can manage that. Okay. So there's bookshelf, mark on the wall,
Let me just
cat
tell you,
door, rules
the
of
ice.
passage, large trunk,
Yes. It's the
large
ice.
trunk, lost paper basket, glass
The
containing ice, speaking tube. It's
Yeah.
ice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can't even examine in this.
Ah! Ah!
Perhaps you should clear away that glass. I know, I kind of had that reaction too. That's some good tap dancing.
Oh man! Oh, I'm in it! I'm in it, boys! Oh! Oh! Oh my gosh! How curious that the ice should have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago.
Like,
Oh,
this is the true
game-
dance of deduction.
Oh, this game.
This
they're
is what
making-
that's what we were missing 10 years ago. This was the stuff they were doing.
They're making this so dope. They're making this the coolest thing we've done in this game so far.
Like, I would play a spin-off that takes place over the 6 years that they were together of, like,
Oh my god.
Mikatoba and Sholmes just doing this
So
stuff.
cool. That's so cool.
Ah!
Ah, man, they're two halves of a coin, my dude. Oh, it would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival. This well-chilled glass in hand.
Get your mind off the refreshment songs.
Like the music kicked up and everything. Oh. One thing might even conclude that someone informed him of board.
Also, I noticed with this that Sholmes isn't, like, saying far-fetched stuff. Him and
Yeah.
Mikatoba are just, like, perfectly in beat.
They're
This is
so
why...
in sync.
This is
They
why
know.
he couldn't do it with Ryunosuke properly, like, and on his own. He needs, like, they're two halves to the whole thing.
They're two halves. Oh, I love it. Mm. Mwah, 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 mwah. All the chef's kisses. Wouldn't you agree, Mrs. Stroganoff?
But why would you share one from us?
Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one matter. Would it be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Groose The same one in which you and Mr. Goku were accommodated for your voyage from Japan?
Ah, that's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door, and Shishiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage.
As I suspected, for you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Goku had to hide.
What traces?
I know nothing about this.
Ah, this is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff?
So, that's what exactly I was getting at.
As I traces in this kind of various activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure you won't have escaped your notice.
Something out of place in here.
That is the key to this, Mikotoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here are being masked by something quite incongruous. I must say I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikotoba.
No, quite. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now then, let's see if I can uncover the truth here.
Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow.
Okay.
It's the frame.
This? Rules of
See,
passage?
the rules of passage or the other or the smudge. Basically, it's been moved.
Well,
I don't
pick
know.
one.
The remnants of the dark deed is the that mark on the wall.
Mark on the wall?
Yeah.
Under which rather awkwardly hiding the traces of crime.
Oh, then the rules of passage. Then.
Rules of
Sure.
passage?
Yeah.
It's the rules of passage in the frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put there in a hurry.
Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. The frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match.
Da, you are right. When did frame move?
Hardly the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Stroganoff? I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability.
Grrr.
Oh dear, that really started to touch a nerve. So, Miss Mikotoba.
Oh, huh.
So, Marcel, why don't I lift the frame off the wall?
What, you never talk to yourself?
Terrible. So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall?
That looks like a bullet hole.
Uh,
What? Who has been shooting walls?
I see the projectile has been removed. Clearly, the careful occupant of the Zuma has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff,
Ugh.
I have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant.
I don't know what you are talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern Stranger?
Ah, so we're talking about the same man, I see. Good.
Ugh.
I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reasoning why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by...
I really don't know how to broach this one, Sholmes.
Neither do I, honestly. Oh, my dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle. I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I'd put a wager on it.
Trying to glare at the fellow from all sides. Well, I certainly can do that.
Scarf?
I mean, is he hiding something behind his hand?
Tattoo?
Chunky arms. Oh, money.
Wad of
A lot of
banknotes?
banknotes.
Chunky arms?
It's a lot of banknotes.
Sure, it's not the chunky arms.
Not the- he has no style. He has no grace. Yeah. That's not even Chunky's part of the rap.
No, it's Lanky's.
Yeah.
It's almost too obvious for words.
Quite. The universal language of the world. Money.
Ah! I'd wager let that Eastern fellow in question. It's a Shiro Jigoku, yes?
Ah, why are they all calling him Eastern? Like, they're both from Eastern countries. Russia's not like that far west. It's only a little more west than Japan.
I don't know.
So I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that crime has been committed in this cabin, and the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice.
But
I believe you know Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time.
eh,
As always, Victoba, in a matter of deductions, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally.
Yes, I think we're onto something there, Holmes. You found the chink in this burly fellow's armor.
We only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink. Nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible.
You can hardly call this barely perceptible, Holmes. The man's turned his entire head. It's not exactly what you describe as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious.
We shall let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow.
bookshelf,
The chest.
mark on the wall, cabin door,
Chest.
glass taining eyes, speaking tube, large trunk,
It's a large trunk.
wardrobe, large trunk.
It's a large trunk.
I need to point out all the things though. It's tapping toes.
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you?
Ah,
The truth is, Shiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is, at this very moment, doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk.
If he still has breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air.
Hmm?
I imagine he didn't count on making us a nuisance of us for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible.
But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code.
The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure.
Of course.
In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside the trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the. I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganoff.
Whoop.
no, I know nothing about combination code.
Don't move a muscle, my good seaman.
Huh?
Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk?
How on earth do you expect me?
It's a 7-digit number, remember, quickly now. We have little time. It's 231042.
231042. Nope.
That should be. Did I spell that wrong? Oh, there's another H.
Where?
Oh, I can't spell. Ugh. Ugh. That's two. Wait.
Yeah. That help?
I mean, I just it's show Am I missing the M? What am I missing? No, the M is there. 6. Oh, I'm missing the 6. Right.
What's 6? Do you know? Do you have it yet?
It's after the 3. After the let. So go back. It's 2, 2, 6, 3.
These only go up to 5.
What is that? What is the E supposed to be?
The
Is that a
E?
2? Is that a 2?
That looks like a 2 to me.
So is it 5? Is it 5, 2, 3, 1, 0, 5?
That sounds right to me. So, what is it? 5?
5, 2, 3, 1, 0, 4.
5, 2, 3, 1, 0, 4. For what?
5. 4, 5, I guess.
That?
Shomes. Yeah.
Good job catching it.
Oh, I caught it immediately. I just didn't know why it was.
I kind of had it, but the M really screwed me up a little, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I knew that. Remember, because when we were in the ship last time, I tried flipping it around because I thought it was a number combination. Remember? Like literally, that's my go-to when I see when I see codes. Like flip it around. It's probably numbers,
Fair.
but it was just a word for wardrobe in Russian.
Oh, yeah.
Well, today's open. You had the metal, didn't you?
He's so big. How does he fit in there?
Well, you found me now. For sure.
He's curled up. That's how he fits.